You know, if you're just sitting around not doing that much, this might be good, work longer and harder. But you can only work so hard. Here's the key, not to work harder, but smarter. When you've worked as hard as you can, doing the best you can in terms of physical output in the time, reasonable time. Now here's the ultimate in the management of time, and that is you simply become more skillful. That's good in sales. You got to jot that down. When you're new, you make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Now, when you become more skillful, the numbers can go down because now your persuasive ability and all of that is now so high that you don't need to put as many numbers out. But at first, if you want to compete or if you want to really get good, you've got to put in the numbers. But if you get more from yourself, develop more of yourself, now the time management becomes an easier task. Now here's the next thing. Either you run the project or it runs you. I've found out when you start something, at first you're in charge. All of a sudden, a year later, it's in charge. Some of the companies I started, I'm telling you, I'm in control. A couple of years later, I'm out of control. At first, I've got it on the run. 2 years later, it's got me on the run. Haven't got enough time. I'm dizzy with trying to get it all done. So here's part of the key, and that's to get in charge. Say, I'm going to take charge of my health. One of my albums is entitled, Take Charge of Your Life. Take charge of your time. Take charge of your resources, which we're going to talk about next. Take charge of your health. You're the one that's responsible for it. It's not a requirement of society that you not have a heart attack to take care of your family. That's not a requirement of society, but you must make it a requirement of yourself. Society doesn't require that you build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. That's not a requirement of society. It's a requirement you impose on yourself to build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. So impose on yourself this self-development of being in charge, taking charge of your life and your health and your future and your responsibilities and all of those. But everyone here, we've got the time over the next 10 years. We've got the time the next 20 years. We've got the time the next 30 years to make some repair now in our errors of the past and set up some new disciplines. And I'm telling you, that's going to change everything. So, 5 years from now, I wish for you to arrive at a well-designed place. A place of productivity, a place that'll make you feel good about yourself, a place that'll give you honor and respect, a place that'll give you influence to touch other people 5 years from now that you couldn't do today. Where will you be in 5 years? Key phrase, we go the direction we face. If you start designing something at the end of this direction, sure enough, you will start going the direction you face. And we face the direction we design. Direction determines destination. Destination is not determined by hope. It's not determined by wish. Destination is determined by direction. You cannot change destination overnight. But here's what you can change today, and overnight you can change direction. And it is so fascinating what a little small change of direction will do. A few decisions in discipline, a few decisions in learning, a few decisions in change of behavior, change of habit, a few decisions in setting goals that you've sort of let drift before. Like I did at age 25, didn't have a list. I immediately started to change that. And I immediately started to change my direction so that very quickly I started heading this direction.
If you make it your business how you give your life, to give the best that you have, to give love, to give encouragement, to give help, to give support, if that's what your life is about, whatever you put out here, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you it's going to come back.
The secret to living is giving. Do it when you don't have it, and I promise you, scarcity will leave your life.
Now, the reason that most people don't give is because they operate out of a consciousness of scarcity. They don't believe that there's enough to go around. They can't see themselves having the capacity to give. They don't believe that they have anything to offer. They don't see themselves as an opening for the universe to work through
This means that whenever you give, it's always going to come back, so you don't have to ever think about that again. Just give, and the rewards will be greater than you can ever imagine.
The number one defining factor of whether we become successful or average is whether we have grit. Grit is the ability to stay true to your vision and not dilute it when you get laughed at. Grit is the ability to try an innovation, experience failure, and to say, I'm going to continue, and I'm actually going to learn and use that experience to get me closer on my path to the mountaintop.
Is the one thing in life on which we can absolutely count. People who stay young all the years of their lives not only welcome change, but see it for what it really is: new opportunity, new chances for further fulfillment. Attitude is a reflection, a result of a person's will. It is incalculably powerful. It can bring about marvelous results for us, but we need to train it patiently, day by day.
Education is inoculation against disruption. And as you know more, you can achieve more.
But the truth is, every one of the greats, no matter how much natural talent they were born with, they're remembered because they worked. They are remembered because they did so much work. Because in that work is hardship. In that work is difficulty. In that work is unbearable adversity. But it's in that adversity that the magic happens. And as Victor Hugo said, adversity makes men.
People let their emotions get the best of them. The only secret that exists is getting out of your own way. Don't betray yourself to get somebody's approval, right? Don't be afraid to want success. What habit did you start?
The push-ups every night before and after, before I went to bed and when I woke up.
You've already given up on that. So follow me on this, right? Because this is what I was saying at the beginning. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So you're adrift at sea. Like, I see you receding into the distance.
Right.
You might be dancing and smiling, but you're receding into the distance. So it isn't a complicated problem. So somehow in your head is a belief that you're going through things other people wouldn't understand, they don't go through whatever, but none of those beliefs serve you. Even if they're true, which they're not, but even if they were, it doesn't serve you to feel overburdened by Sally Mae and the IRS and all of that, right? None of that serves you. So you've got to turn those into actionable chunks. And this is, people let themselves feel overwhelmed as if feeling overwhelmed somehow made the problem go away. Feeling overwhelmed does exactly one thing. It makes the problem worse. That's it. Yeah?
When you find a way out of no way, when you find breath that you don't have, when you find energy that did not exist, when you want this thing as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you find a way.
If you look at anyone that's happy or successful in life, it's because they know how to keep fear in check. When you want something new and fear pipes up and tells you you can't have it, you've got to say, yes, I can. When you want to try something new and fear pipes up and tells you shouldn't do it, you've got to say, yes, I should.
You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. Every day you have to plan. Plan to fail. We fail to plan. Hard work works. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. So never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. Or more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish.
If you don't like your job, change it. Oh, but there's no jobs out there. Oh, change who you are in the job where you are and enjoy yourself. Change your perception. Change your appreciation. Change from trying to get something to trying to give something. The whole game will change. Decisiveness is the ability to make your decision even though you're uncertain once again. Most people have all these visions. Maybe they start to make a little sort of decision, but they don't make a real decision because they don't act on it. And if you don't act on it, your ideas, your dreams will die in your mind. They'll die on your lips.
Do you know how many people I've had to forgive that have never asked me for forgiveness? You know how many people I just let go so I could just go where God had for me? Because I just ain't have no more time to spend no more time thinking about that. Look, man, you got something that's been bothering you in your life, get past it. See, if God wakes you up in the morning, it's a sign from God that he ain't through with you. That's why he wakes you up. When he's done with you, you won't wake up no more. But as long as he got something for you, he keeps waking you up. Why don't you wake up to go see what that is? Don't lay there wallowing in your past, man. Your past is back there. I would rather show the world what love do through forgiveness than sit up in here and win a damn argument.
And your mama didn't like the fact that you was doing it. Your mama didn't understand, and you let your mama in your ear. Like it was your mama's dream. You let your daddy talk you out of it. That was yours. That was something the Creator gave to you. That belonged to you. My mother never understood, but she's working for me now. I didn't quit because people didn't understand. I worked harder.
You must know what you're going after. You must know what you are going after. You can't live your life meandering around hoping you hit something, and whatever you hit, you say, that's what I was aiming at. You have to have a specific target in mind. Most people don't succeed at getting what they're going after because they don't take the time to research what they're going after. They ask for things and then see if they want them. But you have to be careful about that, because if you ask for something, you might get it. That's a very significant question in knowing what you're going after. Before you go after it, ask God, is it yours? Because if it's not yours, and the only reason you're going after it is because it looked good on somebody else, you begin to covet what belongs to somebody else. Because God didn't want us to be jealous of each other. He wanted you to only want what he meant for you to have and not want what he meant for me to have. Now you say amen to that, but there's very few people who live by that principle. Most people want everything they see somebody else with. They buy clothes that don't look good on them. They wear hairstyles that don't look good on them. They buy houses they can't afford because they're trying to keep up with somebody else. But if you really want to be a winner, if you really want to come off as successful, if you really want to be bright, only go after things that are meant for you to have. It will make you look successful. I can make you think I know Kung Fu. As long as you let me choose who I do it to. I kick you in the head if it's the right one. And what makes you look bright is when you pick your battles.